Alrighty, so today we're looking at summary statistics. So we're looking at calculations that we can pull from the graphs that we've been looking at. So here's another display of types of data. So you've got your categorical or numerical, and when you have, say, nominal data, the only information that you can pull from that is the mode. Okay, so the most frequent thing that's happening. With discrete and continuous data, you can find the mean, median, mode, range, and outliers. So we're going to revise and look at these today. But yeah, if you think about nominal and ordinal data, it's impossible to be able to find, the average of, blonde, black hair, red hair. Okay, because the data isn't numerical, you can't actually figure that out. So here's a summary of your mean, median, mode, and range. So we've got mean, which another word is average. Okay, another word for that. And to find the mean, you add all the numbers, then divide by the amount of numbers. So here you've got a bunch of numbers, you add them all together, you get 30. And then because there are 6 numbers altogether, that's why you divide by 6. Okay, so the mean is 5. Median is when you order the set of numbers, so your numbers must be put in numerical order. The median is the number, the middle number. So for this one, we had to rearrange these. That's what this line is. And then in the middle, the two numbers are 3 and 6. Okay, so if you've got that, then you would add together and divide by 2 to find the exact middle number there. If you've got an odd number, then there would only be one middle number, so it makes it a lot easier. We've got mode, the most common number, so the one that shows up the most. So in this set of numbers again, we have 3, nothing else doubles up or anything, so 3 happens the most. It's the most frequent, so the mode is 3. And we have the range, so it's the difference, which means we subtract the highest number and the lowest number. Okay, so the highest number in our numbers here is 9, the lowest number is 1, so you go minus 1 is 8, so the range is 8. Okay. Outliers. Okay, hopefully you've heard this word before, but what an outlier is it's a piece of data that sits apart from the rest. There may be more than one, so there can be more than one. When an outlier is present, the mean is a bad measure of centre. The median is better to use. So let's have a look at the dot plot here. Okay, see, majority of the data is here. Okay, there are a couple of outliers over here. So these two are, called outliers, which means there's, some really strange or weird kind of data that you've pulled from other people or from other things, which is fine. But if we were to try to find, the measure of centre that we've looked at, I wouldn't be looking at the mean, because when you add these two numbers in, it's going to really throw off the mean when you really want to just focus on the main information here. So it's better to look at the median, so the middle number, when it comes to this. So here we've got our histogram. We do have an outlier. It's right here at the end. Okay. So again, it's definitely data that's collected, so it needs to be shown. However, when we're doing our measures of centre, I wouldn't be using it. Stem and leaf plot. This has an outlier at the top and at the end. Okay, because again, majority is here. Now, looking at graphs, it's quite easy to look at an outlier. However, when we've been given a whole set of numbers, it's kind of difficult to know whether you should include it in the majority or not. So later on, we'll look at how we can decide. So there are different formulas to decide whether a number is an outlier or it is a part of the majority. So, like I've been saying, that measure of centre, okay, it's how we analyse data. There are 3 different ways to find the middle data. So to find the middle of the data, you can use the mean or the average. You can look at the median, or you can look at the mode. All right, so for the mean, or the average. We looked at it just before, but again, it's the sum of all the scores or all the numbers, and you divide by how many numbers there are. All right, there's a video here if you need to look at some more information. Mode, the most common, we've had a look at already. Data can be bimodal if there are two modes. Okay, so let's say the number 4 and the number 9 show up the same amount of times, but the most compared to everything else. That means your data is bimodal. There are two modes. So, for example, a group of 9 students was asked how many jumpers they own. The following raw data was recorded. So 5 and 10 show up the most, so that means the mode is 5 and 10. So for this one, I would say 2 and 1. All right, median, the middle. So again, you arrange your data from smallest to largest. You count in from both sides to find the real middle. If you end up with two numbers, you take the average of the two. So there's a video here to have a look exactly how that works. Measures of spread. Okay, so instead of looking at your data and like looking at the middle of all your data, sometimes we want to look at the range or the spread of the data. So again, we've looked at the range and we've got, if we look at the highest value and subtract the lowest, you will find the range. Okay, and just like yesterday, there's questions here to follow and complete for today's lesson. Good job.